Yo, what's going on, everybody? Season 3 of Invincible just dropped recently, and we're here to talk about it. We're in for a surprise. We watched 3 episodes, and it was a banger, each one. We enjoyed each episode, full of excitement, full of thriller, full of suspense, everything you want to ask for. And we're here to review the episodes. It's me, DMAC, Daniel McTack, Double Drip 2729, my boy Alan,
What's
or
up? What's
Wanted
up? What's up?
Muffin.
How's it going?
And yeah, let's get into it. So, starting off with episode 1, pretty much we get to witness Mark training under Cecil, under the GDA. So Cecil has him on a training regimen. We see him fighting a giant in the beginning of the episode. Turns out to be a kid.
That was trippy.
Um,
Like the family getting compensated
yeah,
for him
yeah, yeah.
training.
It was
Like,
a trip because I thought it was like a monster he was fighting, and it turns
yeah,
out it was a kid that turns into a giant. So Cecil was using him to train Mark, and we got to see that. We got to see him picking up heavy objects, fighting other strong monsters. There was a lab where Cecil has him bench pressing some fucking big ass machine.
oh, it had the weight of the moon on
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and he was going
So
through lava to like check his how invincible he actually is.
yeah, that shit was dope. We got to see
Yeah,
him like go through it, and his speed increased, his strength increased, his durability, everything pretty much
yeah,
increased. He's a way much stronger Mark than what we saw in season 2 and season 1. I don't really think he's at the level of Omni Man yet or other Viltrumites, but he's getting real close, and I'm pretty sure soon enough we're gonna get to see him battle it out with them on an even playing field. And yeah, so as he was training, like my boy Alan said, his homie Rex came in, and I'll let you take over from there, my
oh
boy.
yeah, yeah. Well, Rex comes in and he's like, "Damn, bro, like, way to make another superhero feel inferior because he's getting pushed to like
Yeah,
exponential levels, bro. Like this
yeah,
guy's literally
yeah.
lifting the moon and like he's bench pressing it like it's no thing, and he just gets up and he's like, yeah, I'm just working out, got a regimen, and as that's happening, they get a call that somebody's getting stealing the Declaration of Independence, the
Ooh.
drop kick and fight master. I think
Oh yeah. Those characters were pretty
yeah,
badass. Just a little fun fact, we just found out, but they're voiced by Zolo, the character from Cobra Kai, Miguel
yeah,
Diaz.
Miguel Diaz.
Badass Blue Beetle as well. So, we're a fan of that show, both in that movie as well. So, once we found out he gets voiced, those characters get voiced by him, we're like, fuck yeah, even better.
A little bit more excitement.
But yeah, man, so what goes down in the
Yeah, it's
fight?
cool.
Like,
They're fighting. Well, they're doing pretty good, and then they like get one on one. Kind of Invincible has one, Rex has the other one, and they're both putting in work. But Invincible is like not really taking them as a threat.
yeah.
The guy's like fighting on them, but Invincible just kind of standing there taking it like, yeah, like it's a child beating on an adult type
Yeah.
shit.
They were kind of nice guys. They weren't
Yeah,
really, they didn't want to fight cops. Like, you
they
could
weren't
tell.
killing anybody. They were like trying to do what they had to do, and like, yeah, like you said, like not trying to like fight the cops. They just wanted to get in, get out, and then they got taken up on, and then Rex started getting his ass beat. So Mark's like, oh, I got to pay attention, and
Who
then
was who was beating Rex ass? Was it one of the fighters?
I think yeah, it was Dropkick or Fight Master. I'm not which.
One
I
of
don't know
those,
which one is
yeah.
like the
So
name.
they were going at it back and forth, and apparently,
As that happens, uh, Multiple comes in
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
he blames Rex for his sister dying, and then he starts beating up on him, and then so Mark's like, oh, and he just like knocks out Fight Master, and then he tries to come over and tell him like, yo, leave Rex alone, like he didn't do anything, he was trying to help, and Rex also was telling him like, yo, like I was there trying to save her, I almost died, and Shrink Ray almost died as well trying to save her, like what are you doing? And then it's getting to the point where he's multiplied so much that he's just beating Rex's ass that Invincible just starts tearing him apart because he can multiply himself. He starts destroying like individual parts, like tries just to get to Rex. He's just like mangling bodies everywhere, bro.
dude, that shit was crazy, bro. Yeah. So multiple that character, he was trying to get like revenge for his sister, thinking
Yeah,
that Rex was the one that was like responsible for her death. Well, if you guys don't know, if you guys haven't seen season 2, they were getting down with I think the League of Lizardmen, or one of the villains, the group of villains, and they were getting their fucking ass beat like badly.
all of them. Yeah,
And they were under the impression, because we saw Kate die, like we saw her get fucked up, and Rex, he was the only one that survived basically. So Multiple came through and was blaming Rex for all that shit, and yeah, man, turns out that she didn't really die. Like she ended up coming through with Immortal. Like,
yeah. She pulls up
yeah,
like
they pulled up to reveal the secret because they saw through the news that Rex and Invincible were there getting down with Multiple. So then they went through and they revealed that she was alive so that he could stop. But he's corrupt, or he's fucked up in the head, because he didn't give a fuck that even that he was
Dude, he
wrong.
was like
Like,
literally to the point like he almost murdered him. Like Mark was trying his best to get him, and he was like an inch from beating Rex to death.
yeah, like Mark had to go and like actually kill. He didn't want to at first, but he like ended up having to like kill some of the clones just to get through and
Just to
get
get
closer
to
to
him.
Rex to save him.
Yeah.
So that lets you know, like, multiple, like, he's fucking out of control, man. Like, I wouldn't trust him. Like, I wouldn't let him loose. Good thing they took him to jail,
Well,
man.
yeah, like, well, even then, after it happened, she didn't. She was like, "Oh, it's my brother. He doesn't know better." Blah blah. And then Invincible was like, "Dude, like, it doesn't matter. He
Like, fuck
literally
that for
almost killed
like
somebody. Yeah,
for reals. Like,
he's and then because he was doing that, Dropkick and Fight Master end up getting away because they got distracted
yeah, yeah,
fighting him.
yeah. Mark had to
So
let one of them go, and then they
yeah,
both ended up.
so Mark was like, "Nah, bro, like you just cost us like what we were here initially for. You disrupted a crime scene and you beat somebody almost to death. Like you're going to jail."
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. So they were dealing with that, and right now in the show, Mark is going through a lot. Like, we see his evolution through people he loves, his conflicts, his emotional conflicts with like love, his he's trying not to cross that line of killing people, and he's just going through it right now. And then to top it off, his brother Oliver, gets introduced. Well, he gets introduced in season 2, but now we see him as like a more of a younger child, like not just a baby, like an actual kid.
And he's aged,
Let's say like 10 years old or something like that. But the thing is, yeah, he's from his mom is a Thraxan, so they age way faster than other species.
They look like praying mantis type.
Yeah,
like
that's
bugs,
a crazy
like
shit. We saw Omni Man in season 2, like making out with his wife, which was like a fucking
like,
praying mantis looking chick. So we were like, what the fuck? But Oliver came out of that, and his process of growth is much faster than a regular human or other species.
Yeah, their lifespans are much shorter.
Yeah, so the thing is, he has Viltrumite genes in him, so as he grows, they become more dominant. So his aging slows down a bit. Even though I still don't believe he's gonna live up to as long as Mark will.
Yeah,
because he's human and Viltrumite, contrary to Oliver, that he's half Thraxan. So he might live a while, but I don't think as much as another Viltrumite that has mixed with another species. So, but we're seeing his growth, and Oliver, he doesn't really care. He's losing control of his powers.
he's like a preteen.
Yeah, like he just discovered his powers, and he's so excited about them that he doesn't hold back or anything. He's just at 100 all the way.
Yeah.
So his mom Debbie, they discovered she didn't know like that he was flying around, and even in the house, he was being very like under the radar about it. But they ended up catching him flying around. So
no, he tells Mark like you promised.
Oh, right.
I start getting my powers.
Exactly.
But
yeah,
they all
right.
thought like, oh, what's a cool way off? Because Mark didn't get him.
Yeah.
He was like 17, 18. But he's like, in the moment he says that, he just like flies up. And he's like, oh, well, you promised. Look, I'm flying. You promised.
Yeah, it was a shock to both Debbie and Mark. They were like, what the fuck? Because they expected the powers to bloom later. But
yeah, like, dude, you're still a kid. Like,
yeah. And dude, he's kind of a loose cannon, yeah, because they tell him one thing and he does the complete opposite. But I mean, they're fixing their issues. There's family tension and stuff. But as the show progresses, Mark keeps talking to him and letting him know what's up. So hopefully he gets his shit together. As of now, though, for what we've seen, I don't think so. But I hope at some point in the show, we don't know yet, but we hope at some point in the show, like he gets his act together a little bit and shows restraint. Because he's just fucking out of control right now.
You see his mom like trying, bro, like family discussions, like straight, like trying to get to the same like level of understanding to get it through to him.
He has that Omni Man in him a little bit.
Yeah, that little bit.
He doesn't give a fuck about life.
He doesn't care about life. Yeah, it's not anything important to him.
Yeah, but furthering on into episode 1.
As they were having the family discussion.
Yes, they Well, what happened with Mark and Eve? Like, how did they meet up again?
Oh yeah, well they were having the family discussion, and then Mark he went to go talk to his friend. Remember?
Oh, that's right. The gay couple. They're probably one of my favorite. The one dude from that gay couple. He's one of my favorite characters because his advice is spot on. He's like clean. He gives clean advice that like once you hear it, that's what you got to do. So he's been back. Like I said, he's been back and forth with his emotional side, like trying to see if he wants to talk to Eve. About how he feels and stuff. Rex in the beginning of the show, the episode, he was letting him know, like while they were fighting Dropkick and Fight Master, like, yo, like you should go talk to her,
make a move.
Like my boy said, he wasn't taking the fight seriously, so they were conversating, and then Rex was telling him that, and then now he went to get advice from his best friend,
and
his boyfriend, and they told him what's up. So he said, "Fuck it." Keep in mind, they told him not to mention
Yeah, he was
the future Eve
the
because the future Eve,
dilemma
yeah, talked to President Mark and let him know that she's always loved him and not to just push her aside and stuff.
to like make a move
And what
or
do you
let
do?
her
What was the first
go.
thing he goes into?
He the logic he gave him or like the advice was legit. He tells her like, look, whatever that girl told you, that's not the Eve you know. That's somebody else. You can take her advice, but also like give your own input for the person you know, and
Be
then handle it.
original,
Yeah,
yeah.
handle it that way with the one you know. Like discuss your feelings that you have, and then he ends up going and he's like, all right, you're right. I'll talk to her because you're right. I don't know that Eve that told me that I should make a move, and I have feelings for this one that's here. And he goes to meet up at her house, and he's like contemplating. He's like in the air talking to himself, and she's the one that tells him, "Are you
Yeah.
gonna come in? And you're just gonna fly around, or what's up?" And then he gets to it, and the first thing he does, and like after he tells her, and like they start discussing their feelings with one another, and she's on board. She's like, "Well, let's see what we can
Like they
do."
were already, the green light was there, like,
Yeah, like they both were interested in each other, and they were like, "All right, let's do it. Let's take that step." And then he was like, "Oh, thank God! I just didn't want to leave you hanging." And she's like, "What are
Oh
you talking about?"
shit.
Like, and then he, like an idiot, tells her like, "Oh, well, this other Eve told me this, but blah." And she literally says like, "That other person isn't me. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, are you? Do you feel bad for me or what's going on?" And he's like, "No, no, no." He starts backtracking, and then in the middle of all of that, Doc Seismic had somehow escaped, and he's like captured all the superheroes. So they need to put a pause in their argument because Cecil, or was it Cecil
Even
that calls
Cecil
him?
was like, how the fuck does someone like Doc Seisman pull
Yeah,
this shit?
like
Like,
he literally captured all the other superheroes. Everybody was fucked, and it was just him and Eve that were available.
literally just him and Eve.
So
Like
they
every
were
other
like,
superhero was captured up. So that's like, what the fuck?
yeah, they paused their like argument discussion, and they were like, well, let's go do work. And they pull up on Doc Seismic, and then apparently he like found these creatures in the middle of Earth that he was able to communicate with seismic waves, his ability,
Yeah, that shit
and he
was a
was
trip.
controlling them like a giant army. There were like
They
spiders
were
and
like big ass,
giant
like, yeah, it was like a
centipedes,
mix of
like,
like he said, spiders and some. They were like big worms, like centipede looking
yeah,
worms. They were aggressive looking
and
creatures,
like
like underground
earthworm type
creatures and
shits.
shit.
Yeah, they were huge, like
Big as fuck,
skyscraper size and stuff, and they
and
were
a
having
lot.
struggles. Yeah, and they got
Yeah,
everybody. Everybody was like locked up in these like egg, like cages type, and
yeah, like
then
these little egg like shell looking things that were see through,
yeah,
but they couldn't like pierce through them or use their powers to get out of there. So that's why even Mark they pulled up. Cecil let them know like, yo, like we gotta help these guys out. So they pulled up. They were fighting those creatures for a while and they were getting overwhelmed. So
they got
eventually
taken up too.
they got captured, and Eve at the time she hadn't gotten knocked out when they got captured, and Mark was still awake. And every other hero that was captured, they were all in like bubbles, but like real close to each other in close proximity. So they were yelling at Mark like, "Wake Eve up! Like we need her powers. She's the only one that can like manipulate matter and like get us out of here."
Yeah,
So they finally wake her up, and yeah, well they get out of the shells. Everybody starts fighting the creatures, but they're all getting overwhelmed. Like they're
no, no,
fucking
no, no.
strong, no?
Before that, like she's all loopy, and that's when Cecil decides to send in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the like cyborgs
Yeah, the
and
reanimate, because
Darkwing, whatever
those
his
fools
name
are
is.
like they keep upgrading like the corpses that Dr. Sinclair used to make his reanimate that were like strong, like dead zombies basically that were robotic, that had like
Yeah,
cyborgs. They were like half man, half cyborg, but like dead. So they, I guess when they captured Dr. Sinclair, they didn't really just put him in jail, like they put him to work for the GDA. And Mark didn't know that. So like the superheroes weren't able to like fight their way out of the tunnels or underground where they where Doc Seismic was holding them captured. So eventually, Cecil made a call and he eventually sent in the reanimant. And to top it off, even worse, already that Mark doesn't like the reanimant. To top it off, he sent Darkwing to help as well, and that just topped it off. Like that just made Mark like
yeah,
go
he was
like,
supposed
what
to
the
be in
fuck? Like
jail.
they're supposed to be captured up in prison behind bars.
Yeah,
No excuses, no exceptions. But Cecil doesn't see it that way. In his head, he's like, we got to make use of them and not send them to waste. Like we got to rehabilitate these people. And it's crazy because speaking of Cecil and his whole mentality on the situation, it leads into season two. Season two starts. I mean, season two. I'm
episode
sorry,
two.
episode two. It starts off with Cecil's background. We see him, and he was like Mark. He was just an agent for the
Just a
government
federal agent. Yeah,
and just running missions and shit. And he had a boss, and his boss was like Cecil, how he is currently, and Cecil was like how Mark is currently. So it took a while for Cecil to understand that they just got to do what they got to do to save the world, regardless if it's like not good choices or like choices that are immoral.
Well, he tells him that line, his boss, so we could be the good guys, or we could be the guys that save
Save
the
the
world.
world, but we can't be
We can't
both.
be
And
both.
that hearing that, it's a
So
trip
Cecil
because
kind of took that to heart.
yeah, dude, we get to see Cecil's like growth, his character development a little bit. And bro, just to, real quick, it sucked the way he was trying to save the city from the
Oh
gas
yeah,
explosion. So he closed the door, but he got exposed to gas. Where the gas bomb was at, he closed that door. But dude, that on contact, that shit fucks you up. Like it melts your skin and shit.
yeah, it was
Like right
gross.
away. Like so, we see him fucking like melting and shit. And then, well, he works for the government, so they gave him new skin. They basically like give him new skin, but he didn't want to fix this part of his mouth because he wanted to use it as a reminder to not fuck up ever again. So which is why I guess he's so extreme with
Yeah,
his choices now, how we see him now. But yeah, see, so he's a crazy character. The way he's going about things is conflicting with Mark and other superheroes. So pretty much, Mark doesn't like once they got saved. Mark didn't like that he used the reanimant plus Darkwing.
that they should be
So
locked
he
up.
went straight where he went to the
So
Pentagon.
he just flew in, like he didn't go like secretly or nothing. He like destroyed the ceiling, straight came in,
Like didn't
guns
even go through the
blazing.
door. He just blazed through the roof.
Yeah,
Like so, obviously Cecil's like, what the fuck? Like
yeah, he's all mad, and he takes him to that white room, and he tells him it's for his protection.
yeah, yeah,
And Mark just starts destroying all the cyborgs and everything, and he's just like, "Chill out, dude. Like you're being a hypocrite. Like relax. Like it's not that deep. Like we rehabilitated them for the people." But Mark's like, "Nah, they should be locked up. They did heinous things. They shouldn't be rehabilitated.
yeah,
Like it's not like they just went shoplifting or something. Like he murdered a crap ton of people." And then the other Nightwing too, he was murdering people like
yeah,
in their version of like Gotham City.
yeah.
So it was he had like great credibility. Like he was in the right. Like yo, bro, these people did heinous crimes. We shouldn't just like let them come through. Like oh, we put them
Right.
through the program and they're a whole new person now. Like nah, bro, you don't just switch that easily.
Yeah. The crazy part though is it's a tough it's tough being like on one side or the other because I mean if Cecil didn't send those reanimate in,
They would have
they were
probably had a
getting they
harder
were
time.
maybe gonna die. Like they weren't getting the upper hand for shit when they were captured and trying to fight off seismic and plus the creatures and all that shit. So I get Mark's point, but then also it's like, well, they did just save you. Like, how are you
But
gonna get out of it? But
I would have understood like Nightwing, like because he is a superhero who
yeah,
just
that's kind of
went a little
true.
far. He
When
he
somebody
might have
that's still
accidentally,
alive, at least he
but
fucked up, but he's still a
yeah, like
living
he was
being. Like,
trying to do good and like eradicate gangs and all this stuff, and he might have killed a couple people that way. Like it doesn't justify him killing people, but he wasn't a mass murderer making
yeah,
cyborgs out of like humans' parts and just like
yeah,
So it's a
that's
whole
true.
different level of like their crimes.
Yeah, and Cecil's reasoning for the reanimate was that they were bodies that were donated to the GDA, but you
Who's
never
donating
know. You
bodies?
never
Yeah,
know. Yeah, it
like
could be something he says and
yeah,
it's a
like how are
lie.
you getting
But
these bodies?
yeah, so anyway, so Mark goes and visits Cecil to talk about Darkwing and the reanimate and why he's using them. And he punctures through the Pentagon's roof, meets up with Cecil. They're walking down the hallway. He's mad, talking to Cecil, like, what the fuck? What's going on? And well, Cecil's scared, he has trauma from Omni Man. So they're walking and, casually they walk into the White Room. And all of a sudden, Mark's like, what the fuck are we doing here? Next thing you know, the lights flick up and then you see all the reanimate there, like waiting to fight Mark. And then Mark was like, whoa. And then Cecil was like, yo, well, these are my back. This is my defense
From you,
against
like
you guys,
yeah.
people like you, because what are we going to do? You guys are too powerful. Next thing you know, Mark didn't like that. He couldn't control himself and started killing all the reanimate in the room. And as a countermeasure, in case the reanimate didn't work, in season 2, Mark went underwater and he used like this thing.
It was like a
It
kraken or
was like a
something.
cracking creature
Yeah,
that was able to affect Mark
they were fighting.
through frequency, through his
Yeah,
ears. So when Mark got fucked up, he was recovering, the GDA implanted that little thing in his head that Cecil could use a control to like activate it, and it would release
disrupt
that
it.
frequency, and it would
Yeah,
fuck up Mark's ears, and it would cause him to not be able to fly or use his powers. He was just on the ground shaking, trying to like get control of himself. But the episode 1 ends like that, and then episode 2 continues with, like I said, with Cecil's background. But then it starts up again with
Mark on the floor.
Mark getting away because he flies away. Like at a certain point, Cecil stops using that
Remote.
frequency thing, and he lets Mark fly away. So then Mark goes to the Guardians of the Globe's HQ, and and he just like goes same thing. He goes through the roof, lands on his knees and his palms, and he's like, "Yo, like Cecil's trying to fuck me up, this and that." So pretty much Cecil shows up and he's telling the other guardians like, "Yo, chill out. I'm not trying to
Don't
hurt
get
him."
involved. Yeah, it's not
But
about them.
he's, he has to have some sort of like check on himself because he can't run free. I don't trust him like as much because of Omni-Man. Omni-Man was good for a second, then he turned evil and killed a bunch of people. So it started a whole fucking thing. And
Half the Guardians were like against
yeah,
it
yeah,
because Mark, like Invincible, was literally on the floor, just like fetal position, like he couldn't move. There was just this frequency in his head, and he thought he was gonna die. And then the cyborgs start beating up on him,
like
and it
fucking
looked
him up,
like it looked like they were doing damage to him. His skin was starting to tear
like
from his
bruise up
back.
and shit. Yeah,
Yeah, so all the other Guardians were like, "Yo, you're getting a little excessive. Like, what's going on?" And they start getting in the fight and destroying the cyborg to help Mark. And then Cecil, no, Rex takes the control from Cecil and he destroys it. And then the cyborg's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Like, it had a kill switch, so now it's just indefinitely going off in Mark's ear."
yeah,
And then the robot, like, he affects the frequency, so it stops. And then he attacks Cecil and he tells him like, "Yo, we're done. Like, if you ever come near me or my family, I'm gonna kill you. Like, that's it. It's on site now." And he asked them to take out the device or whatever it is.
yeah. The
And
little
then
thing that they implanted in him.
yeah, and then the Guardian, and he leaves with him, and then the other Guardians are like discussing how wrong that was. Like, yo, like it was Mark now, but it can be us, like just as easily.
Yeah,
And they weren't with it, so they had a huge division. Half of them ended up leaving, and then they were like trying to find their. They went back to the kids one, no,
yeah. Like to the other
the like
headquarters they
teen
used to
version
have.
of the
Yeah,
Guardians of the Galaxy type thing. Or
yeah,
like
and
Look
it
type.
was it was a pretty impactful moment, impactful scene. Like we get to see the emotions of everybody and what everybody's going through.
Yeah.
And yeah, so to finish episode 2 off,
Oh, it went back to Mark and Eve pulls up on Mark, and
yeah,
then they start like talking about just the day, and like, "Oh, well, what are we gonna do?" And like, "How are we gonna pursue what we were talking about?"
yeah,
And he just abruptly tells her like, "Yo, like I fucked that up. That's on me. But I've always had feelings for you. Like we both known what it is
he
since we were
realized it when
young."
he was on the floor with that whole thing when he was suffering from the
Yeah,
frequency thing in his ear.
he thought
He
he was
was
gonna
thinking of Eve, and
die.
he told her, "You know what? I was thinking of you like the whole time, and
Yeah,
like that lets me know that what I feel is real. Like it's not just something that's here and then it's gonna go away. Like I actually care for you." And I was thinking, like, what am I gonna do? Like, what's your life gonna be if I'm not in the picture?
yeah. So they
So
decide to like actually be in a relationship
yeah,
from
that's
then
when they
on.
finally go, you know what? Fuck it. Like let's just give it a shot. Let's try this shit.
Yeah,
And then, well, pretty much that wraps up episode 2, and then we go on to episode 3. After that, pretty much Mark receives an upgrade suit, different color scheme. It's just blue and black. I like it personally.
looks cool.
It looks pretty badass. It's a little more simpler than the yellow and the blue and the
Yeah,
black. Same design and everything. It's just the color scheme is a little bit different. And then, well, pretty much, so does Oliver. He gets his new suit himself, and he tries to replicate Omni-Man's suit with a different color scheme, same symbol and everything. But yeah, so pretty much
Mark got upset.
Mark got upset because of
Yeah,
that, and he doesn't like that he's wearing that because the people aren't going to receive that kindly. Omni-Man left a big impression, a negative one, on the
yeah.
city, caused so much destruction. But yeah, pretty much the episode keeps rounding out, and it says there's a prison break. There's a prison
With
break at one point.
the two brothers, remember the blue who's what are the names?
The Mahler twins.
Mahler twins. They break into like, yeah, like a giant facility or something.
Oh no, no. So I remember, yeah, yeah. That guy Multipal, he gets taken to jail, and the Titan, the guy from season 1, and well, he only really comes out in season 1. He's the black dude that has like that rock armor. Like he's able to get that rock armor where he fights that guy that looks like Black Mask from the Batman.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. He takes over the gang or whatever after they defeat that character that's similar to Black Mask. So he takes over the boss spot, and there's this thing called the Order, and so apparently Multipal was in that group called the Order, and they want to
They're kind of like ninja assassins.
yeah, the people that run that go up to Titan, and they're like, yo, like you need to help us release this fool because he's part of the Order and this and that.
Yeah.
And Titan's like, nah, well, that was his shit. Like I'm not
nobody
involve
ordered him.
myself
Yeah,
in that.
nobody ordered him to go do that.
So we get introduced to like that side of the underground, group of villains and stuff a little bit. It's like a little bit of a foreshadowing. I'm pretty sure like we're gonna see more of them in the future. I don't doubt that the person that went up to Titan, that old man, has abilities himself. I'm pretty sure most of the people in the Order have abilities, but pretty much that's what happens for that little piece of the episode. And then it goes on to where Eve tries to go back to her folks' house and like
Oh, she tries
rekindle
to
stuff with her
her
dad and her mom.
relationship. Yeah.
And her mom's pretty much chill about shit, but her
I don't
dad's like the
understand
asshole.
why
Like
her
really,
dad really hates her like that. Like he's not a fan of her powers, so she tells him like, "All right, I'll move in with like two ultimate. No, like if you have to accept that my powers are a part of me, and just accept me for who I am, and I'm not going to use my powers at home."
she's trying to
So
compromise.
yeah, so they were like, "All right, well we can live with that." He was like, "It's either that or you lose me. Like I'm never going to come here again, and you no longer have a daughter." So the mom was a little bit shooken up, and the dad's contemplating, and he's like, well, all right, let's do it. Like,
Yeah,
just have his daughter back. But even then, I get that family
he's been an asshole
dynamic
the whole
is
time. Like
it's so off to me. I don't understand. Like, yeah, she can create things atomically, and like, she's not doing it in the wrong way. It's not like she's making gold and like just
she's just
fucking
trying
up
to
the
use her
world.
powers to help people.
Yeah, and he's so against it. Like, he thinks that she's belittling him as a man and taking over his role of like feeding the family and
Yeah,
like that the patriarchy.
pride, man, it just
Yeah, and
takes over.
it's just I don't understand. He has like no legs. Oh man,
The
that's
good
just all bad.
the good thing with Eve though is we saw in season 2 when she tried reconstructing like a park in a building and it ended up fucking falling back apart because she didn't really know how to like focus her abilities properly.
She
At least
just
she's trying to go to school
Yeah,
to
she's
learn
going
like
back for
engineering
architecture
and
and
like
stuff.
architecture and like how to like properly
Yeah,
like siphon her powers like in a way that
so
if
she
she
can.
ever does something with them they'll sustain themselves.
Yeah,
So we get to see that side of Eve too. But yeah, pretty much.
and then it was the Mahler twin.
Pretty much after that, we get to see these two soldiers kicking it at like a base, and they're talking about like where they should be in that base because they've
Oh,
broken into that before.
yeah.
So one of the soldiers, she was like, "I don't feel comfortable standing in this room because that wall right there is where they broke in from last time." And the other guy was like, "No, we're cool. This is the most secure place in the
Like
world.
lightning
Like
doesn't strike
it's
in
not
the
just
same
gonna,
place
yeah,
twice.
exactly." And what happens?
Instantly
Boom!
shattered that
The
same
fucking wall
spot.
comes through, and it's the fucking Mahler twins. They come
Yeah.
through, and what were they trying to do? I can't remember exactly what they were trying to do.
I don't know. They were trying to grab something or steal something
They were trying to do some
from
shit.
like the government facilities. But I'm not
Yeah, I
sure.
think it was something with like a
Oh,
nuclear.
they were gonna do something in order for them to like prioritize some type of like electrical or
Because they're
something to make
like they're
money now.
geniuses, so they always build like new tech and stuff that is to their benefit.
Yeah.
So they're pretty much there to like try to take some technology and like use it for their own good.
They were gonna destroy like a satellite or something to like make it so that if anybody wants to use like a phone or any type like that, like they have to go through them, no?
I can't
So they can
remember
make money,
exactly,
like something like that.
but well, apart from that though, they pulled up and the Guardians of the Globe they got the call and Invincible found out
It
he's
was
I don't
on
know
the
how.
news. They were having a
Oh yeah,
family
it was on the news.
discussion.
There we go. It was being broadcasted, and so he found out. He went, and then the Guardians of the Globe they also went either by seeing it on the news or by getting pinged from Cecil.
Yeah.
And they showed up, and pretty much they started getting down, and it was a mess. Like it was a pretty
Like
big
they
mess.
had some EMP gun, so it was like fucking up with everybody. When they get hit, it like disrupted your nervous system, so they
Yeah,
couldn't move and do anything. So they were literally taking out all the guardians and everything.
yeah, like the gun they had, it was powerful. It was like anybody they
It's
hit,
like
they
a
was
ray
fucking them up.
gun.
Yeah, like it
Yeah.
was like making them freeze, and it was like electricity running through them, so they were like getting shocked at the same time.
Yeah. And
But
then,
yeah, it was pretty
well,
crazy.
since it was Mark, Oliver, and his mom were having like that discussion, and then they saw it on the news. Mark left, and then it was just the mom and Oliver talking, and she was telling him like the reason why you can't go is because you don't know how to use your abilities. Mark hasn't trained you, like you just got them. And then he's like, she tells him like, "Oh, promise me until he trains you, you're like, and you're ready to go. Then you'll go out and do something." And then he's like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever." And then he instantly sees on the news that like Mark got hit or something, and he's like, "Oh, he needs my help," and he flew away like right away, just straight ignoring all the conversation he had
Bro,
with
he
his
does
mom.
not listen.
Like yeah, like right away he just flipped. He's like, "Oh, you might need my help," and he left. And his mom's like, "What are you doing? Like, chill, no." But he was already gone.
Yeah, it was insane. They pull, he pulls up. He's helping Mark He punches one of the Mauler twins, and at first it's chill, like he's just like punching, like he's not really causing a substantial amount of damage to them. Obviously, they feel the hits, but he's not really like tearing them apart or anything like that. He's just kind of like
Yeah.
helping out Mark, and yeah, pretty
They
much
start
he
fighting.
goes insane. Like what do you?
They start fighting, and then the one of the Mauler twins sends up that nuke. Remember, he pushes a button
That's right.
and it shoots up like a
That's
rocket, and
right.
it's gonna go destroy the satellite. So Mark tells Oliver like, "Go home. I got this," and he has to go take care of the rocket.
Real quick, at this point, keep in mind the Guardians of the Globe, they've been like
Oh,
zapped
they're like
up.
all knocked
They're on
out.
the floor, like fucked
Yeah,
up.
that ray
So
gun
it was
fucked them
only
up.
Mark and Oliver at the time, and well, like he said, the missile came up, and Mark had to go after it.
Yeah, he tells him, "Go home. I got this," and he goes for the rocket first, and then he goes up and he destroys it. And then as he's up there, Oliver kind of he starts fighting with one of them, and then like as he's fighting, he breaks his jaw, like he
He breaks
socks
one of the
him,
twins'
and
jaw.
like you could just see it hanging like by its ligaments, and he can't talk or anything. And then like the other brother's staring at him, and he points, and Oliver like just flies through his chest, like makes the fucking hole in him,
Like that
and it
shit's
just murders
crazy.
him, like like just goes straight through him. And the other one's like trying to like surrender. He's like, "Oh, surrender," but he can't really make it out. And then Oliver was like, "Nah, there's no justice for bad guys or something," and he just like uppercuts his head off his neck,
Cold blooded,
like
cold
straight
blooded.
murders him.
Yeah, Oliver right now, he's like I said, he's just not under control at all. Like the
Yeah,
whole season, from episode 1 to episode 3 so far, he's just been out of control. He does not listen, and I think he has a little bit of evil in him because
it's the
he doesn't care that he hurts people like that. Like
Viltrumite in
he's
him.
in the part that gave it away for me was when he first pulled up to help Mark and he was like punching the Mauler twins. He wasn't like doing great damage to them because Mark was in his presence. But once Mark left, the first punch he threw was like he fucked up
just
the jaw
instantly
of one of the
kills him.
Mauler twins. So I was like, bro, he was holding back on purpose. He knows when to hold
Yeah,
back and when he wants to let loose, but more of a personal thing. It's not like he holds back for good or bad. He
he just
holds
didn't want to
back
look bad in
just
front
to
of
not look
Mark.
bad in front of other people. And the Guardian, Mr. Immortal from the Guardians, he caught him when he killed the Mauler
Oh,
twins.
he's like coming to. Yeah, he's like
Yeah,
coming
because he was
to
waking up. Like I said, they were fucked up, so he was getting up and shit. But he managed to see Oliver do what he did.
when one of them was surrendering. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's what he tells when Cecil ends up pulling up because he's always pulling up to scenes like that,
he sees
and he
everything.
talks to Morton. He was like, yeah, like Oliver, he had one of the Mauler twins had surrendered
He was
prior to Oliver
surrendering.
killing them, and Oliver still went for it. And then after when he got caught, he was like, I didn't mean it, but it was obvious that he wanted to do it.
Bro, yeah,
So it was kind of scary, like seeing that whole situation go down. And what happens after that?
he had like a Jekyll and Mr. Hyde personality.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, in the moment that happens, like Cecil's kneeled down at Oliver, telling him like, "Oh, it's all good. Like we're superheroes. I take care of this." And Oliver, Invincible flies in and he just straight chokes him in the air. And he's like, "I told you, if I ever see you near my family, I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah, because Cecil was talking. He was on one knee, like talking to Oliver.
Yeah.
Like after he saw that he killed him and shit, he pulled up. He was like, "Damn, kid, even superheroes aren't used to seeing kids
like
do this
bloodshed
type of shit."
like that. Yeah,
So that's when when Mark pulled back down, like after dealing with the
rocket.
nuke or whatever, he went to go see what's up with the scene. And when he got there, he saw that Cecil was talking on one knee to Oliver,
and Oliver's just drenched in blood, like
bloodied
red,
up, like full blood, like.
Yeah,
That shit was crazy. And well, pretty much what like Mark just gets him in the air, like holds him.
Yeah, he chokes him out. He tells him like, "If I see you near my, I told you I'm gonna kill you." And then he's like trying to talk him down, like, "Your brother just murdered people. I'm here to clean up from, and like just chill out a little bit." And then he's like, "Nah, whatever."
Now it was cold when he's all like, "I'm here to pick up your brother's mess," and then Mark looks over and he's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, he
and
didn't.
then
He
Cecil
hadn't
goes,
seen the two brother, the Mauler twins.
"Yeah."
dead.
And then Cecil goes, "I see you've been training them in the ways of the family, like
Yeah.
and you were just like,
Damn,
damn,
bro, that's
bro, like that's crazy." Cecil always has like the craziest like comebacks,
little comeback. Yeah,
It's a trip how he's like. He kind of like he's held himself together amongst all these like supervillains and superheroes because I feel like any other person that doesn't have like thick skin would have broken and mentally been like, what the fuck is happening? Not being able to control anything. So, I give props to Cecil in that way. He has to do what he has to do. I get him if he's in that position, ni modo. He learned from his boss, but Mark doesn't see it that way and it's a conflict right now. But yeah, like the episode pretty much wraps up with that. Next thing you know, yeah, they go back home and they're just hanging out and shit.
They have like a family discussion.
And then pretty much his mom tells him like, "Yo, like, what happened?
Like,
Why'd
we
you
value
kill them?"
life
Like,
in
yeah,
this family.
like,
Yeah,
she has to instill in him like the good because they've been trying to do that and he doesn't listen. So she finally goes like, well, what if I died? What if somebody killed me? Like, would you like that?
Yeah.
And he's all like,
Like, oh, that's
that's when he
different. I
realizes it.
love
Yep.
you. And then she's like, well, there's people that love everybody in this world. And he's like, nah, they were bad guys. Nobody loved
See,
them.
that's the part. That's
Like
fucking
he
crazy.
instantly
Yeah.
just switched like that flick. He was like, ah, they didn't have anybody. Like nobody loved them. They were bad guys. And they were like, yeah, there's still people in the world who care about these people. So he's like, you need to understand that. And we don't know if he does or if he doesn't, because like McTagg said, like he's been keeping up that front in front of his family to just push it enough to know when they give in and he'll revert back when they're not around.
Yeah.
So he was like, all right, I understand. But it was like really like whimsical, like, oh, whatever. And then they're having a little family embrace. And the moment that happens, Mark opens his eyes and there's a camera outside of the window just like spying on him. And he flies out, he grabs it and he just crushes it. And we see somebody on the other side who was looking at them.
Yeah. So, that was pretty much the wrap of episode 3.
Yeah.
Episode 1, 2, and 3, like we said, they were pretty badass. We pretty much summarized the episodes for y'all. I would recommend y'all go watch them. They're bangers. If you haven't watched season 1, start the show. It's a really good show. It's on Amazon Prime. If you don't have an account, just start a 30-day free trial and just watch the show real quick, binge it, and then just cancel that shit afterwards. But yeah, I look forward to seeing more action. They've already given us plenty, different characters. We're barely on episode 3, so it's gonna have plenty more episodes to go. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be introduced to new characters and new shit. So I'm looking forward to it. What do you hope to see, like in some of these future episodes?
Oliver's progression, bro.
Damn, that's a good answer.
This was like Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, bro. I'm telling you, like he'll be all right.
Yeah.
But the moment he knows, like, oh, you're not shit. I can just murder you. Your life's not important.
Damn, bro.
He flips that switch.
What was it? Some Burn Bright, or what's that movie called?
It's an evil Superman.
That shit was crazy, but yeah. Apart from that, after the ending credits, they show the Viltrumite prison.
Oh yeah.
And we get to see Alan and Omni-Man again. They're just in the same cell, just talking and shit. And the Viltrumites want to experiment on Alan because he's an alien and shit. And he's became stronger. And apparently they take him to experiment, but they couldn't do anything. I guess they couldn't use the tools they had to get into his body.
Yeah.
Because he's just that much stronger. Like, it's crazy. Like,
they try to use like a laser beam on his chest, and it just leaves him like rad.
And he goes back to the cell like chilling. Like, yeah, they couldn't do it. Like, you're just. And Omni-Man was like, "What the fuck? You're still alive?" And then Alan's like, "Oh shit! So you do care about me?"
You cared about me, yeah.
But it wraps up there. I hope to see more shit and badass shit.
Them two is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, Omni-Man and Alan. I hope to get them in the picture in these upcoming episodes. But yeah, let us know your thoughts if you've seen the episode. Comment your favorite parts. If there's anything we said that we didn't clarify, let us know.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, that was
what you guys are looking forward to too. Like dropping some
exactly.
Things, see what's up. If you think the storyline's gonna go one way or another way.
Exactly.
You can go any which way right now. It's like an open-ended as book.
Yeah, basically give us your thoughts. But that's gonna be it for this one, guys. Double Drip 27, Daniel, D-Mac, McTack. I got many names.
Yeah,
my boy Wanted Muffin, Alan. So we love doing this for y'all. When the other episodes come out, we'll be having some more of these for y'all. So just stay safe out there. Like and subscribe and follow us on all social medias. We got right now YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. What else do we got? Facebook, right?
Yes, sir.
And pretty much that's it for now. We're trying to expand, but little by little. So hope you enjoyed this one, guys. And that's pretty much it. All right.
See you in the next one.